Have you ever brought home a snake plant because everyone said it was unkillable, only to watch it slowly decline, droop, or rot for no obvious reason? You're not alone. Snake plants have a reputation for being tough, but that reputation often leads to careless mistakes that quietly damage the plant over time. The truth is, snake plants don't die suddenly. They suffer slowly, usually because of a few common care errors that almost everyone makes at least once. Today, we're breaking those mistakes down clearly and simply so you can stop guessing, stop worrying, and finally grow a snake plant that stays tall, firm, and beautiful for years. Pay close attention, because one small change can make the difference between a struggling plant and a thriving one. 1. Overwatering. The fastest way to kill a snake. Plant overwatering is, without question, the most common and most destructive mistake snake plant owners make. Snake plants may look like ordinary houseplants, but biologically, they behave much more like succulents. Their thick, upright leaves are designed to store water for long periods, allowing the plant to survive drought conditions in the wild. Because of this natural adaptation, snake plants simply do not need frequent watering, and giving them too much water does far more harm than too little. When a snake plant is watered too often, the soil remains wet for extended periods of time. This pushes oxygen out of the root zone, creating an environment where roots can no longer breathe. As a result, the roots begin to rot slowly and silently beneath the soil surface. At first, everything may look fine above ground, but by the time you notice warning signs like soft, mushy leaves, yellowing at the base, or a foul smell coming from the pot, the root system is often already severely damaged. One of the most dangerous aspects of overwatering is that it doesn't cause immediate symptoms. Many people assume their plant needs more water because growth seems slow, when in reality, slow growth is normal for snake plants. Adding extra water only accelerates decline. The correct approach is simple but requires patience. Snake plants should only be watered when the soil is completely dry from top to bottom. This means dry not just on the surface, but deep down near the roots. In most indoor environments, this translates to watering roughly every 2 to 4 weeks depending on light, temperature, and humidity. During winter, when growth slows and evaporation is reduced, watering may be needed only once every 4 to 6 weeks. If you're ever unsure whether to water, wait. Snake plants tolerate dryness extremely well and recover quickly from slight dehydration. Overwatering, on the other hand, can permanently destroy the root system in a matter of days. A healthy snake plant would much rather stay dry for an extra week than sit in wet soil for even a single day too long. 2. Using the wrong pot and no drainage. Closely tied to overwatering is another major mistake: using the wrong container, especially pots without drainage holes. Even if you water sparingly, a pot with no drainage traps excess moisture at the bottom. Over time, this creates a stagnant, oxygen-deprived zone where roots suffocate and rot. Snake plants absolutely require pots with drainage holes. These holes allow excess water to escape quickly, preventing moisture from pooling around the roots. Without drainage, water accumulates invisibly at the bottom of the pot, turning the soil into a swamp. Even if the surface appears dry, the material of the pot also plays an important role. Terracotta pots are especially beneficial for snake plants because they are porous. They allow moisture to evaporate through the sides, helping the soil dry out faster and reducing the risk of rot. Plastic or glazed ceramic pots can still be used, but they retain moisture much longer and require more careful watering habits. Another mistake many people make is placing a drainage pot inside a decorative outer container and forgetting to empty the excess water. If water collects in the outer pot or tray, the roots sit in standing water, undoing all the benefits of proper drainage. Always empty saucers and decorative pots after watering. Pot size is just as important as drainage. Snake plants prefer to be slightly root-bound. When placed in pots that are too large, the excess soil holds moisture for longer periods, increasing the risk of root rot. Large pots also slow root drying, especially in low-light environments. The best choice is a container that's only slightly larger than the root ball. This allows the roots to fill the pot efficiently, dry evenly, and remain healthy. A snug fit encourages strong growth and reduces the chances of moisture-related problems. By choosing the right pot with proper drainage and the correct size, you create a safe foundation for your snake plant. Even perfect watering habits can't compensate for a bad container. but the right pot can protect your plant from many common mistakes. 3. Wrong soil mix. Using the wrong soil is a silent killer for snake plants, and it's a mistake many people don't even realize they're making. Regular houseplant soil is typically designed to retain moisture, which works well for tropical plants, but it's completely unsuitable for snake plants. This type of dense soil holds water for far too long, compresses easily, and prevents air from reaching the roots. When roots can't breathe, they weaken, rot, and eventually die. Snake plants evolved in dry, sandy environments where water drains quickly and roots are constantly exposed to air. To mimic these conditions indoors, the soil must be loose, airy, and fast-draining. A heavy, compact mix turns every watering into a long-term soaking, even if you water infrequently. The ideal soil for snake plants is a cactus or succulent mix. These blends are designed to drain rapidly while still providing enough structure to support the roots. If you're using standard potting soil, it must be amended. Mixing in materials like perlite, coarse sand, pumice, or fine gravel dramatically improves drainage and aeration. A good rule of thumb is to aim for a soil mix where water flows through easily and the soil dries within a few days, not weeks. Another overlooked benefit of proper soil is root strength. When roots have access to oxygen, they grow thicker, healthier, and more resilient. This allows the plant to absorb water efficiently without sitting in it. Even if your watering schedule is perfect, dense soil will still trap moisture around the roots and cause problems. In short, soil is not just a growing medium, it's the foundation of your plant's health. Without the right structure and drainage, even the best care routine won't save a snake plant from decline. 4. Not enough light. Yes, snake plants need. Light snake plants have a reputation for surviving almost anywhere, and while that's technically true, it often leads to poor placement. Survival does not mean optimal growth. One of the most common misunderstandings is assuming snake plants thrive in dark corners, hallways, or windowless rooms. In low light conditions, snake plants enter survival mode. Growth slows dramatically, leaves lose their vibrant color, and the plant becomes weak and stretched. You may notice leaves leaning, bending, or flopping instead of standing upright. Variegated varieties often fade to dull green, losing the patterns that make them attractive. For best results, snake plants should be placed in bright, indirect light. A location near a window with filtered sunlight is ideal. They can tolerate some direct sun, especially gentle morning light, which can actually enhance color and encourage stronger growth. However, intense afternoon sun can scorch the leaves, causing brown or yellow burn marks. If your snake plant hasn't produced new leaves in months, or if it looks dull and lifeless despite proper watering, light is almost always the missing piece. Fertilizer won't fix a light problem, and extra water will only make things worse. Simply moving the plant to a brighter location can completely transform its appearance over time. 5. Over-fertilizing or fertilizing at the wrong time. When it comes to feeding snake plants, less is always more. These plants are naturally slow growers and light feeders. Applying fertilizer too often or in high concentrations can cause more harm than good, leading to burned roots, weak leaf structure, and unnatural growth. Over-fertilization forces the plant to grow faster than its root system can support. This often results in tall, floppy leaves that can't stand upright. Excess salts from fertilizer also build up in the soil, damaging roots and interfering with water absorption. Once fertilizer burn occurs, recovery can be slow and difficult. Snake plants should only be fertilized during their active growing season, which is typically spring and summer. Even then, feeding once every 1 to 2 months is more than enough. Use a balanced houseplant fertilizer or a cactus fertilizer diluted to half strength. Stronger solutions are unnecessary and risky. Never fertilize in fall or winter. During these months, snake plants naturally slow down and rest. Adding fertilizer during this time overwhelms the roots and often leads to stress or rot, especially in low light and cooler temperatures. If your snake plant looks unhealthy, fertilizing more will not solve the problem. In most cases, issues are caused by watering, soil, or light, not nutrient deficiency. A well-cared-for snake plant can thrive for years with minimal feeding, proving that restraint is one of the most important skills in plant care. 6. Ignoring temperature and drafts. Snake plants may look indestructible, but they are still tropical natives at their core. In their natural environment, temperatures are stable, warm, and free from sudden shocks. Indoors, however, many snake plants suffer quietly from cold drafts, fluctuating temperatures, and exposure to artificial airflow, all of which can cause serious stress. Cold air from windows in winter, blasts from air conditioners in summer, or hot air blowing directly from heaters can damage snake plant tissue. You may notice soft, translucent spots forming on the leaves, darkened areas or sections that suddenly collapse. These are signs of cold or heat injury, not disease. And once the damage appears, it cannot be reversed. Snake plants thrive best in temperatures between 65 degrees Fahrenheit and 85 degrees Fahrenheit, 18 degrees Celsius to 29 degrees Celsius. When temperatures drop below 55 degrees Fahrenheit, 13 degrees Celsius, growth slows dramatically and prolonged exposure can cause permanent damage to the roots and leaves. Even short periods near freezing can be fatal, especially if the soil is damp. Placement matters more than people realize. Keep snake plants away from drafty windows, exterior doors, air vents, ceiling fans, and heating units. A stable indoor environment with gentle airflow is ideal. If you move your plant outdoors during warm months, always bring it inside well before temperatures drop at night. A calm, consistent climate allows snake plants to maintain strong cell structure, healthy roots, and upright growth, all without stress. 7. Not cleaning the leaves. This is one of the most overlooked aspects of snake plant care, yet it plays a surprisingly important role in overall health. Snake plant leaves are broad, upright, and smooth, which makes them perfect dust collectors. Over time, dust forms a thin film that blocks light from reaching the leaf surface. When light is reduced, photosynthesis slows down. This means less energy for growth, weaker leaves, and a dull, lifeless appearance. Even in bright rooms, a dusty plant behaves like it's living in low light. Cleaning the leaves is simple but powerful. Every few weeks, gently wipe each leaf with a soft, damp cloth. Support the leaf with your hand to avoid bending or snapping it. This small habit instantly improves the plant's ability to absorb light and breathe properly through its leaf pores. Avoid commercial leaf shine products. While they may make leaves look glossy, they often clog the pores and interfere with natural gas exchange. Plain water is more than enough. Not only will your snake plant look healthier and more vibrant, but it will also grow more efficiently over time. 8. Ignoring early warning signs. Snake plants are quiet communicators, but they are very honest ones. They always show signs when something is wrong. The problem is that many people don't recognize or respond to them in time. Soft, mushy leaves are a clear signal of overwatering or root rot. Wrinkled, curling, or folding leaves usually indicate dehydration or severely dry soil. Yellowing leaves can point to poor drainage, damaged roots, prolonged stress, or temperature shock. Leaning or collapsing leaves often signal low light or weak root support. The biggest mistake is waiting. Many people assume the plant will fix itself, but snake plants rely on timely correction. The good news is that they are incredibly forgiving when problems are caught early. Adjusting watering habits, improving light, changing soil, or relocating the plant can often reverse damage and restore health. However, prolonged neglect turns small issues into permanent ones. Once roots rot extensively or leaf tissue collapses, recovery becomes difficult or impossible. Paying attention to subtle changes, texture, color, posture, is the key to long-term success. A healthy snake plant doesn't need constant attention, but it does need awareness. When you listen early, these resilient plants reward you with years of strong growth, clean air, and striking architectural beauty. 9. Repotting. Too often. One of the most misunderstood aspects of snake plant care is repotting. Many people assume that frequent repotting encourages faster growth, but with snake plants, the opposite is true. These plants actually prefer stability. Their root systems like to settle, anchor, and slowly expand without being disturbed. Repotting too often interrupts this process and puts the plant under unnecessary stress. Snake plants should only be repotted when there are clear signs that they have outgrown their container. These signs include roots circling the inside of the pot, roots pushing up through drainage holes, or in extreme cases, the pot cracking or bulging from internal pressure. For most indoor snake plants, this happens only every 2 to 4 years, sometimes even longer. When you do repot, timing and technique matter. Spring or early summer is ideal as the plant is entering its active growth phase. Choose a pot that is only slightly larger than the previous one. Jumping to a much bigger pot creates excess soil that stays wet for too long, increasing the risk of root rot. Handle the roots gently and avoid breaking them apart unless they are severely tangled. Refresh the soil with a well-draining mix, but don't pack it down tightly. After repotting, resist the urge to water right away. Let the plant sit dry for several days so any minor root damage can heal. Watering too soon can introduce moisture into wounds and lead to rot. Snake plants don't need constant upgrading. They thrive when left alone, slightly snug and undisturbed. 10. Expecting fast growth. Perhaps the most common mistake of all is impatience. Snake plants are not fast-growing houseplants, especially indoors. Many people worry when they don't see new leaves appearing every few weeks, but slow growth is completely normal and often a sign of good care. These plants invest their energy below the soil first. They build strong, resilient roots and firm, upright leaves before producing new growth. In lower light conditions or cooler temperatures, growth slows even more. This isn't failure, and it's simply how snake plants operate. Pushing them to grow faster by watering more, fertilizing heavily, or repotting frequently only leads to problems. Overwatering causes rot, excess fertilizer burns roots, and constant disturbance weakens the plant. Snake plants reward patience, not pressure. With consistent light, proper watering, and stable conditions, growth will happen, just on the plant's timeline, not yours. New shoots often appear suddenly after long, quiet periods, surprising even experienced plant owners. When you stop making these common mistakes, snake plants truly become what they're famous for: elegant, low-maintenance, air-purifying companions that thrive quietly in your home for years. They don't demand attention or constant care. They simply ask for respect, restraint, and understanding. Give them space. Let them dry out. Keep them warm and well lit. Do less, but do it right. When you do, your snake plant will stand tall, strong, and beautiful, proving that sometimes the healthiest growth comes from patience and simplicity,